How's it going, everybody? So today, I'm going to be talking about building Solana apps at lightning speed. It's a new way to go to mainnet. Quick little intro about myself. I'm a software engineer. I used to work at Facebook in a previous life, got the crypto bug, and built a dApp development shop with my now co-founder. This got acquired by Dapper Labs, and then I spent some time at Coinbase working as a software engineer. So I'd spent a lot of time building apps. We all love Solana. We wouldn't be here if you didn't love Solana. It's the best tech in the industry, in my opinion. However, there's an accessibility issue with Solana. It is still too difficult to build on Solana unless you're like a smart contract expert. So if we take a step back and look at the history of Web 2, when Web 2 was first blowing up and all this cool infrastructure was being innovated on, it was only really a few cracked engineers that could access this tech until we saw businesses like Stripe and Firebase kind of come about, which made it so your average product and UI developer could build businesses from the comfort of their own room that reach millions of users all around the world. The problem is something like this doesn't exist for Solana. So that's what led us and my team and I to build Poof Cloud. And you can kind of think of Poof Cloud as Firebase meets Stripe on top of Solana. So if you're comparing writing raw Anchor code to compare it with Poof Cloud, there's a couple of key differences. One of the big differences, instead of writing Rust, you actually write your smart contracts in a custom language that's very akin to like a Firebase policy and like TypeScript. And we compile this language down to executable bytecode on-chain, and we interpret this in real time. What does that mean? That basically means it is exponentially more cheaper for you to deploy smart contracts on Solana. And it's easier to change your logic, your application's business logic, and maintain your smart contract. Also, you can kind of focus on your application's security, because security is obviously a thing that a lot of app developers think about, instead of worrying about sophisticated attack vectors like reentrancy attacks and replay attacks that are common in the smart contract world. You can't talk about anything today without talking about AI. AI is kind of taking over the world, and it's writing 50% of the code in Microsoft's code repositories. It actually turns out LLMs are not great at generating Rust code compared to other programming languages like TypeScript, Python, Swift, and even Java. And I'm not even talking about the Solana-specific Rust. So we were building this cool technology to empower humans to build Solana dApps in a much more easier way. And what we figured was this could also work for AIs, and in particular LLMs. So we tested this thesis, and the results were pretty great. The LLM was able to generate end-to-end working smart contracts quite reliably. So we decided to build a product around that called Poof.new. Poof.new is a website where you come in, you describe what you want, and the AI, using Poof Cloud, builds an end-to-end working dApp for you, and then you can kind of go into the website and continue to enhance your application. It uses the Poof Cloud SDK to generate your Solana dApps. We launched a V1 a few months ago, and we wanted to just see if there was an appetite for something like this in the market, and there was. It was just my co-founder and I at the time, and the AI system was quite simple, but for the users that were able to kind of grind through the Poof Cloud system, we saw some success. We landed over 100K real mainnet transactions, so 100K vibe-coded transactions landed on Solana mainnet, basically. And we even saw one app do over 100K in volume. So now we're going all in, and we've been working on V2 of the product, which is going to meet the users where they are so they don't have to grind through and really learn how the system works. We're introducing more on-chain integrations, like on-chain verifiable randomness, and even integrations with Meteora. The AI is exponentially more smarter than it was in V1. It's more agentic. It can self-correct. It can self-test. It can simulate transactions on the network. It's like an engineer is sitting right next to you in the room. We're also introducing a bunch of other new features like templates. Templates are basically common patterns and common types of apps we've seen that users want to build. You can think of build me an app for my token holders. Poofnet is another thing we are releasing, which is just like a custom test bed. And basically what it means is the Poof AI will be able to more accurately generate apps before you go to mainnet. And it doesn't have to deal with the complexity of DevNet or even test with real funds on mainnet. So I ran this prompt across some of the top vibe coding tools, build me a token launchpad on Meteora. And what we found, here are the results. Replit and Lovable couldn't even get a wallet connection working. Lovable made it seem like you were building things on chain, but it wasn't working. Proof v2 actually excelled in all of this, and it was able to get it done. Here's a screenshot where I'm launching this token. It's not an actual CA. It's on DevNet. And here's a transaction on Solscan using the Proof program. As you can see, it's launching a token on Meteora's dynamic bonding curve. So with Proof v2, literally what is possible today wasn't possible a month ago. You can go in and build fully functional end-to-end working dApps, test and iterate them at speeds you never could before, and with the power of crypto and ICM and Meteora, you can raise funds for your application and garner support for them. So you can build businesses as quicker than you ever could before. So if you're interested in building on Proof v2 and getting early access code, we're in private beta right now. Feel free to connect or just come find me. I'm going to be around all week. Thank you.